Hi, you're with India Post Live, India's first online news conversation web TV, where you too can participate in this conversation. I'm Ishan Russell, and today we're talking about the effects of polarization in Uttar Pradesh. We saw that to a very large extent in western Uttar Pradesh, but as far as central and eastern Uttar Pradesh goes, it wasn't that much. That is what experts have been saying. But now there are also allegations that certain leaders have made statements that could have a polarizing effect or a desire to have a polarizing effect. Is that really true? We'll be talking about that. But first, let's take you through the story.
The Hindutva poster boy came as close as he possibly could to the birthplace of Lord Rama when he addressed a rally in Faizabad, just 6 kilometers away. Though he didn't make any promise or rebuild the Ram temple at the disputed site, the impression was obvious through the backdrop on his dais that had the picture of the proposed temple. Election Commission has asked the district authorities for a report on the matter and the alleged backdrop at the rally. This comes just days after his close aide Amit Shah had described the eastern town of Azamgarh as the base of terrorists, leading to public outcry. So Modi is back to his old ways. But what is making him so nervous that he has dumped development for hardcore Hindutva in the last mile?
All right, to discuss all this and more, I have with me in the studio Mr. Vinod Agnihotri. He's a consulting editor with Amar Ujala. Mr. Sanjay Singh joins us. He's the political editor at First Post. Sunita Aaron joins us from Lucknow. She is the editor of Hindustan Times over there. Thanks very much, Sunita, for coming in from all the way from Lucknow. And from Mumbai, we're joined by Vineet Goenka. He is the co-convener of the IT cell of the BJP. We'll also be joined by Seema Mustafa. She is the editor-in-chief of the Citizen.in, and Sanjeev Singh, our political editor over here at India Post Live, will also be joining us. But first, Sunita ma'am, I'll start with you. As far as the ground situation goes, you're the closest to where the action is as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned. So what do you make of these statements? What do you make of Amit Shah's statements, Narendra Modi's statements? There are a lot of talks about polarization or attempts of polarization in central and eastern UP. What do you make of all this?
You see, Eastern UP was in fact, even after Muzaffarnagar, it was more of a caste-ridden society. It's very backward, and the exposure to the outer world, to television, is not so much as it is in the most prosperous Western UP. So once the Muzaffarnagar riots did not resonate in East UP, and we know that this time the election is more on the on communal polarization, and that suits BJP more than anybody else. So they have to make the statements. They have to ensure that all castes, especially the lower caste, also vote on. They become Hindus. They are not their caste. They are not backwards. They are not Dalits, but they are Hindus like 1991. So it's very clear. This 33 seats are very, very crucial for all the political parties, and they're about to do it. And Mulayam will also do. Mayawati will also do. Everybody would do.
All right, so it's politics of convenience, Sanjay, at the end of the day, isn't it? I mean, whether you call it polarization, it's true vote bank politics, and the best formula wins, perhaps, in an election in India.
Ishan, my take is slightly different. The story that you ran says Modi dumped development for sake of hardcore Hindutva. I don't understand what hardcore Hindutva means. Going to Faizabad, does that mean hardcore Hindutva? Because that is adjacent city to Ayodhya. Having Ram in the backdrop in Faizabad, Ayodhya, is that hardcore Hindutva? Of course, he did not say anything. Of course, if Modi is there, then going to Varanasi and talking about Ganges also becomes hardcore Hindutva to many people. But I don't really subscribe to that. Basically, he did not say anything about Hindutva. He said, Prabhu Ram ki dharti. And he goes on connecting linkages. Wherever he goes, he connects linkages. Perhaps in this case, he could not have drawn any other linkage with himself and Gujarat. So therefore, he talked about this thing, Ram. And that is basically BJP's core ideological issue. There is slight degree of if you can say, communally polarizing effect, then Amit Shah's statement about Azamgarh, talking about this was hub of this thing, factually that is correct. But talking about that at this moment, because Azamgarh no longer is hub of terrorism, it was once upon a time, till this Batla House encounter took place and subsequently after that. But thereafter, Azamgarh is no longer on terrorism radar, and intelligence agencies also talk about that. So there is, you can say that in any case in Azamgarh there is a keen contest between BJP and Mulayam Singh Yadav.
Right.
Does not exactly have a cakewalk out there. So of course there is an attempt on part of these leaders and also among popular psyche that polarization is taking place, not, as Sunita said, not as much as it was taking place in Western UP. So therefore, in the last mile, yes, there are some efforts from both sides, from of varying degrees. But I have my doubts whether Eastern UP, the polarization would be that much as it was in Western UP.
Right, are the people buying it on the ground? I mean, there might be a whole lot of rhetoric flying around. Mulayam Singh might be becoming Maulana Mulayam, and Modi might be invoking Ram. But are people on the ground actually divided on those lines, or is it still caste that dominates their vote?
Actually, in UP, you see, every time in every election, caste is a dominated factor. Earlier, before 91, there was a caste polarization. Congress polarized Dalits, Brahmins and Muslims. And the major opposition was the Lok Dal, and they always polarized the backward caste and the Jats and Yadavs and Kurmis. But after Ram Mandir movement, and after when Advani took the Rath Yatra from Somnath to Ayodhya, there was a complete divide on the communal lines, from west to eastern UP. And BJP gained on that communal lines. In UP, when there is a communal polarization, BJP has always upper hand. But when this communal polarization is diluted by SP and BSP, the rise of SP and BSP, you see, from 1993, when Mulayam Singh and Kashiram came together and formed an alliance, and then despite the demolition of Babri Masjid, BJP lost the election. That was because the Hindu society was divided on the caste lines. Right. And I remember the one interview of Mr. Kashiram. I took that interview when there was a result. I said that the secularism has defeated the communal politics. He said no, the caste politics has defeated the communal politics. That was the reality. Now you see the rise of Mulayam Singh, 1993, then 1996, then 1998 and 1999. BJP got in Eastern UP particularly. BJP is the main fight is between BSP and SP on the caste line. BJP gained only when there is a communal polarization after the Ram Mandir movement and so and so. Then this time, after these Muzaffarnagar riots, the Western UP is communally polarized, no doubt about it. From Ghaziabad to Muradabad, you see the clear-cut division. When Jats, the major vote bank of the Ajit Singh, they shifted, major part of the Jats shifted to BJP. That is the reality. But in central and eastern UP, still the polarization is on the caste lines. BJP is trying to divide it on the Hindu line, Hindu polarization. That's why Narendra Modi, when he goes to Banaras for his first rally, the backdrop was Bhagwan Shankar's picture. In Ayodhya, the Bhagwan Ram was the backdrop and the Ram Mandir, the issue. You see, BJP is trying to give a complete package in the Narendra Modi. Hindutva, his core identity from that 2002 and onwards, the development, then governance and strong leadership, everything with Narendra Modi. Right. So if he goes to Ayodhya and if he doesn't talk about the Ram Mandir and Ram, then it would have raised some questions on that. So BJP is trying to polarize the eastern UP and central UP on the communal lines to get more seats.
All right. So Vineet, what happened to the entire development plank that this election was being fought on? I mean, you've been fighting your social media wars and propagating the views and news of Narendra Modi, but at the end of the day, it's polarization politics that is helping you, if it is.
Let me first tell that we are still on the development plank, and we do not want to go into anything called as polarization, or we don't want to get to that time. What Congress has done is, when they were unable to beat us on social media or on the media or on the sabhas, on the development plan, they have tried to infuse this. as Modi ji always says, there are certain news traders who would like to bring this point of polarization.
But
So
Vineet,
we
at
are
the end
still
of the day,
talking.
the statements made by Amit Shah, I mean, are they not attempts at polarization? Or please explain those statements to me then.
See, what Amit Shah ji said has to be understood, and that's why EC has given him the permission again. Earlier, when everybody raised the eyebrows, EC had asked him not to speak in public, and then later on, when they understood that the intentions and the directions were right, they have allowed it. We have just talked about what has been the development in UP, especially in the eastern UP. How it was a hub of terrorism because of non-governance, non-government, because of lack of education, lack of basic developmental facilities. When you express something, you have to speak something. Now, it is on the person who wants to hear it out and interpret the same sentence. When he said it was a hub of terrorism, it is nothing new which he said. This is what exactly the Pope Cornelius also said. He is trying to tell that we will bring in governance, which will change the course of the days.
All right, Sunita, is that what people on the ground are thinking? Are you buying that argument from the BJP?
No, I think, there is a difference between 1991 and today. 1991, it was just religion. It was only Rama temple. Whereas Modi is what? Modi is a heady cocktail of Hindutva plus development. We must keep that in mind that, all castes, irrespective of which caste you belong to, there is poverty, there is backwardness in UP and especially in eastern UP. So Modi, they see two things. They see, yes, he's the guy who can develop us, who can provide us roads and the basics, and he's the guy who's also talking about Hindutva. So when the secular bloc is doing aggressive appeasement politics, Modi becomes the hero. And such statements like this guy Amit Shah made in Azamgarh, that helps in further polarizing it. Because somewhere, because of Mulayam and Congress, the type of statements they also issue, the more of Modi bashing they do, the more they're trying to appease the Muslims. So you see that there is a hate divide. On one side you have one party, and on the other side you have the secular bloc. And we are actually worried. We are really waiting for this campaign to get over because we don't want another Muzaffarnagar in east of UP.
All right, fair enough. I mean, we've just seen Kokrajhar, Muzaffarnagar has happened. Is the danger that in this attempt to gain your vote share, are you really dividing up the country or dividing up a community that through, I mean, or does this happen in every election?
Ishan, my worry is on a different count. Perfectly all right. Modi has to be blamed for, and has been blamed, and continuously that process is going on since 2002. But what happens every time you generate a fear psychosis among minds of minorities, and which minority versus majority? No political discourse in this country is taking place without this without communal overtones. Suddenly, this is the process by which you try to get some votes of a particular community. Mahmood Madni rightly said, there is no need to generate fear psychosis. You can talk on development plank. The basic issues are same for both the communities. Leaders, for their own sake, for certain percentage of votes, that you talk in terms of segregation. What has actually translated on the ground that there is a heavy polarization, and in result of that polarization, there is reverse polarization. And the spiral effect goes on. On the ground, it is the Dalits in Uttar Pradesh who are going to be deciding factor. If Dalits are Hinduized or kind of goes by the Hindutva wave, or a good section of them goes with the BJP, then BJP is sweeping the polls in UP. Right. That is basic worry of Mayawati. How do you proceed with that situation? If you every time if you talk about communal issues, you are relegating real issues into the background. And Modi, with his persona, the kind of persona that he has, the kind of oratory that he has, and that kind of galvanizing effect that you have. You love him, you hate him, but the fact remains that he has galvanized these elections.
You can't avoid noticing.
You can't avoid. He has acquired your mind space so much, from northeast to south to east to west to everywhere. Look what happened in Amethi yesterday. At the end of the day, Priyanka Gandhi came out with a statement saying that my martyred father was humiliated in Amethi and every worker should respond to that. But he has given his message. He has succeeded in his message. Is there a counter narrative that BJP, Congress or his rivals have? I suspect they don't actually have a counter narrative. Therefore, they are falling prey to what Modi perhaps wanted, to have this election polarized once and for all, without actually saying those words whereby he could be bracketed into this communalist speech.
All right, so others are also playing into Modi's game plan or strategy of the politics of polarization. I think we seem to have established that, Vineet, though I know you would want to counter that. But Vinod, the same question on the ground, the fear is that Modi might not say anything, even Amit Shah might not ask any BJP worker, but there might be some random group of 5 people who would go out on a killing spree, or what happened in Kokrajhar, or what happened elsewhere, or what happened in Muzaffarnagar. A small incident can flare up to, I mean, it's a tinderbox kind of situation.
That is the worry. That is the reason of the worry. I agree with Sunita that actually we are waiting that on 10th of the May the campaign will end, and at least these fiery speeches and the attempts to polarize the society will finally they will end. And actually the problem is that in UP, if BJP raise the development and governance issue, BJP is to be questioned, because you see, after 1991, BJP has 4 chief ministers. Kalyan Singh 2 times, Rajnath Singh and Ram Prakash Gupta. BJP also ruled the state. So on the issue of development, they are also in the dock of the questions. What you did for Eastern UP, what you did for Central UP, what you did when you were in the power. Only Congress can be spared, because since 1990 there was no Congress government in the UP. That is why this is in UP, whether he is Narendra Modi or Amit Shah or Kalyan Singh or Uma Bharti, they always raise the Hindutva issue. Narendra Modi is very clever on that. He never talked about the building of the Ram temple, but in the backdrop of the Bhagwan Shankar and Bhagwan Ram, he is giving the message. You see, I am the leader, I am the savior. Sunita is very right on that. He is the symbol of Hindutva and he is the symbol of the governance. He is a complete package.
Moditva now.
Moditva now. He is a complete package. So Narendra Modi has nothing to say that let me give the power and I will give the Ram temple. This is the underwritten. It's a what you call the hidden agenda.
Is it the hidden agenda, Vineet?
Let me refer it. It is not a hidden agenda. We have made our position very clear in the manifesto also. Okay, now let me come out with 2 comparisons. Modi ji has addressed more than 450 meetings and rallies across the country. Amity was one part of it. Okay, so why are we making so much sense out of it? It is just a routine. This thing we go to various places where we are going to contest and we speak. Modi spoke there. Now there has to be some backdrop. There was one backdrop which is related. So when you come to Nagpur, you talk about oranges because it's an orange city. When you go to Gaya, you talk about Buddhism naturally because it's one thing. You go to Faizabad, you don't talk about Ram. It is not possible.
So you go to Azamgarh and you talk about terrorism.
It's addition just 2 minutes more.
Okay.
Now we are trying to compare anybody and everybody with Modi ji. Let us be fair with Modi ji. Let us compare him with the prime ministerial candidate of Congress. Where is Mr. Rahul Gandhi? We don't see him. It is that he has put a proxy representative, Mrs. Vadra, on his behalf to go and campaign. So what Congress is very clever. They say that our PV cannot speak for itself, so his sister will work on his behalf. Okay. Now all these years we had Congress government. Out of the 67 years post-independence, how many years non-Congress government was there in center? How many years total chief minister was there in UP?
No, but Vineet, you can say this to me. You can say this to me over here in the studio. On ground, your leaders are saying something very different, and that's the dichotomy that we're trying to raise over here. That on ground, it's a completely different message, a completely different rhetoric that is going on. On social media, you might be saying one thing, you might be saying something to us in the studio, but on ground, this is not what your leaders are saying, are they?
See, Ishan, I've been monitoring every speech and every moment which is going on in the last leg. Because now my focus has been reduced and it has been gone into because now I don't have to spread myself in 543 but concentrate on the elections which are going to happen.
Right.
So I've been monitoring it. Yesterday, entire day I was sitting in front of the monitor to see all what was going on. Not a single incident where you can say that we have not talked about development. I have to say that if you give me a strong government, I'll give you a strong governance. Is it a wrong statement? तो सिर्फ कि मैं आप मजबूत सरकार दीजिए मैं आपको मजबूत शासन दूंगा अच्छा विकास दूंगा अच्छा दूंगा अब when the panelists say that there is a
Vinod wants to ask you a question. Vinod Agnihotri wants to ask you a question.
Vineet, when Narendra Modi raised the issue of Bangladeshis, what he said? He said that on 16th of May, Bangladeshis has to take their bag and baggage and flee from the country, number one. And the Bangladeshis who perform the Aarti and Durga Puja, they are our Indians and they will be in India. It means you are completely, Bangladesh is dividing on the Hindu and Muslim lines. This is the polarization. Bangladeshi is Bangladesh. If you are raising the issue of illegal migrants, then Bangladeshi is Bangladeshi. Then why you are dividing on the lines of Hindu and Muslim? If the Bangladeshi who is performing Durga Puja and performing Aarti, he is permitted to stay here. And the who is not performing Durga Puja and Aarti has to go.
Vinodji, let me first understand from you. Should we allow Bangladeshis to stay in this country or not? This is
No, irrespective,
Irrespective.
Vineet. The point is whether Bangladeshi should be allowed to stay or not. Is the criterion going to be whether they do Aarti or not?
Let me answer. If you hear me out, then you understand the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. So first point is, should we allow Bangladeshis to stay or not? So the answer is no. Bharatiya Janata Party's position is very clear. Outsiders should go back. If they are refugees, they should come to the channels. We will take them as refugees where it is. We cannot allow migrants to come inside the country and change the demographics. We have seen the fallouts in Assam. If we come to Mumbai or Delhi, we are being challenged, our security is being challenged. Now, I don't know where this question of Durga Puja and all have come. We have never spoken about this. Bangladesh is
In Calcutta, in West Bengal, Narendra Modi, Indian Express has reported this, the speech of Narendra Modi. Yesterday,
Your prime ministerial candidate said so in
I'm
Calcutta.
answering. And Vinodji, मुझे 2 minutes समय दीजिए. Let me also answer this. I had an opportunity to go to Andaman Nicobar. There is an island called as Havelock Island. There is a beach called as Radhanagar. It is entire settlement of Bengali Hindus done by Jawaharlal Nehru ji. Now, there is a difference between refugees and illegal entrant. If there is a refugee, there is a policy of the country, we will go by the
No, but
refugees
Vineet,
policy.
what is the fact that whether he's doing an Aarti or not? See, you're not answering that fact. Whether
नहीं बोला है. See, this is what, this is the interference and this is the actual interpretation of the people who would want to create this kind of ruckus. We have a fantastic showcase, Ishan, of development. We talk about development in Gujarat, we talk about development in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Goa.
All right.
Nobody will repeat us. Today, Congress is not seen anywhere. Rahul is not there. Mrs. Gandhi is not there. Priyanka Vadra is coming and speaking on behalf of them. They are not answering what is done by Mr. Vadra. They are not talking about why they are appeasing a particular
But you're still not answering the Aarti. You're still not answering the Aarti question. Sunita. Right, Sunita will also.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
This country was divided on communal line not by my party, but it was Congress who
But your
decided to
party, at
divide
least in this
country.
election, you will admit is trying to reap the benefits of it, isn't it? Sunita,
No.
Sunita on the ground,
Absolutely.
Sunita will tell you
Let
from
me
the ground that
let
this
me-
is what your
Ishan,
party is
let me
doing.
complete
Sunita,
it.
why don't you just counter that?
Let me complete answer, otherwise it will not make sense and it will be having wrong
Okay.
meaning.
Just complete your answer, then we'll allow Sunita. All right.
Yeah. See, Ishan, understand. They have showed the evil of communalism. When they go and talk to particular religious leader, it is okay. By design of the podium, if you have a photograph of somebody who's revered in this country for millions of years, राम जोड़ता है. आप राजस्थान में जाएंगे राम अवतार रहता है, यूपी में जाएंगे तो राम अवतार के बदले में वहां पे राम प्रसाद रहेगा. You go to south, there is going to be Ram Lingam. The country is united by Ram. Why are we talking about Ram? Why don't we talk about the per capita income of the Gujaratis which are there from Gujarat? Why are we not talking about the health index of
We are not,
the children from Madhya Pradesh?
Vineet, हम गुजरात पे बहस नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are not discussing
talk
the
about
Gujarat.
you.
We are talking about the UP and the politics of communal polarization. That is why.
I-
Otherwise, I can debate you on the
Sir,
Gujarat
I
also.
agree.
But that is
I
not the
can say
topic
we
here.
All right,
agree.
but Sunita has been quiet. Sunita has been wanting to come in this. Vinit, just give her. Sunita, yes, go ahead. As far as UP is concerned, I mean, is it the politics of development that is being talked over there on the ground?
Exactly. We have talked about development. He said that you give me a मजबूत सरकार, मैं आपको अच्छा शासन दूंगा. What more do you want to understand? He said, see, in Amethi, 90% of Amethi
All
is
right.
in darkness. There is no light.
All right, but we're talking. All right, Sunita,
So
go
we are
ahead.
not focusing on that. We are just focusing on what is the background. When Congress comes to speak on the dais, nobody talks about that. कि उसके यहाँ पे राहुल गांधी जी नहीं आ रहे, candidate नहीं आ रहे. It is somebody else who is not from the party who is coming up, and they are expected to come on that focus. We have to talk about what is the percentage of people getting electricity in Amethi. We have to talk about the percentage of people who can
But Vineet, you talk about it, right? The point is, I am saying, yeah, Amit Shah goes and talks about revenge, then he goes and talks about terrorism. Sunita, please, I've been trying to get you into this conversation. Go ahead. Vineet, just a minute. Let the lady speak.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Can I speak now?
Yes, please
Okay,
go ahead.
now I don't think so. Modi needs Ram in the background to get votes. One, he has become a symbol of change. He has become a symbol of aspirations only because of 10 years of Congress rule where people feel that they have not got what they deserve. But having said so, point is that BJP knows that they are getting upper caste support. But upper caste support is not enough in a caste-ridden society of Uttar Pradesh. You need lower caste support also. And I suppose it is a tweet by Mr. Narendra Modi today where he's talking about lower caste. And he's again and again projecting himself as a poor person, somebody like a chaiwala and a backward. Why is he doing so? He wants to color them with his communal tinge. You know, he wants to unite them and exploit their aspirations for change and weave the Hindutva also and then present a picture. In fact, people are playing into his hands and he has raised aspirations which perhaps, I don't know how far he'll be able to fulfill. Even in Amethi, he said, I'll change Amethi in 60 months, 5 years. So I don't know how much he'll be doing, but he has to communalize this election to get votes. Upper caste is not enough.
All right, Vineet, go ahead.
Sunita ji, we would rather like to sit in opposition if we have to divide this country. This is the position of Bharatiya Janata Party from day one. And एक देश, एक विधान, एक प्रधान, एक निशान. This is the slogan given by our founder fathers. Okay, we were not trying to divide it on the basis of communalism or this thing. Now to represent his own past, saying that yes, I have come from this background, a humble background, is it wrong? Now Sunita ji, I would like to also ask, there is a candidate from Amethi whose father was Prime Minister, father's mother was Prime Minister, mother's father was Prime Minister. And Rahul ji ke पिताजी की माताजी के पिताजी.
28 years Gandhi family has ruled. I agree with you. I agree with you there.
So there when Mrs. Vadra, who misrepresents herself to be daughter of the clan and not represents as Vadra, speaks about the sacrifices of the family.
No,
is it wrong that we talk about? Is it wrong about it? We talk about it? We are XYZ. Vineet Goenka. So
I'm sorry, Vineet. I think Priyanka Gandhi Vadra can talk both as a Gandhi and as a Vadra. She doesn't necessarily need to talk about
BJP.
Vadra.
They always talk Mrs. Vadra. They never mention her name, Priyanka, because they want to link Robert Vadra and Priyanka and
remove the Gandhi.
That is remove the Gandhi. That's why every BJP leader is talking Mrs. Vadra. Nobody is taking her name. Her name is Priyanka.
Yeah, Sonia,
Priyanka Vadra.
go
They are
ahead.
always talking Mrs. Vadra.
Sunita, go ahead.
Ishan, you have to repeat what the co-panelist said because it is not clear. Can you do that?
I'll just say that you're calling her Mrs. Vadra because you do not want to call her Priyanka Gandhi or remove the.
Am I doing something wrong, sir?
No, not at all, not at all.
It is not factually wrong.
It's not
Factually
factually wrong.
It is factually correct.
That's the entire
strategy.
point of
that is your
good
strategy.
political
strategy.
communication. Right, Sunita, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say when he talked about Amethi, I agree that Gandhis have failed their constituents. 28 years, Congress 44 years, and they have suffered. And if you go to Amethi, the younger lot is today asking, what have we got? And this is the reason that in 1990, I remember that it was difficult for opposition to even get an office or put up their flag. Today, Modi could hold a rally and get such a massive response. It's only because of Gandhi's, they had failed their constituents, and that's why opposition is there today. There's no denying of the fact, but I don't want to talk about Vadra because Vadra is not the candidate there. Let's talk about the Gandhis. The Gandhi family has failed there. Why talk about Vadra?
Mrs. Vadra is speaking. Where is Mrs. Gandhi and Mr. Gandhi?
Well, she's
They're
been
not
the
in the
campaign
scene.
manager, but Sanjay Singh has been quietly sitting all this while. Because Sanjay Singh, as far as Amethi is concerned, as far as all these big constituencies are concerned, do the effect of polarization, does it come in over there? Would it happen in Amethi, like a constituency like Amethi as well?
Since you talk about Amethi and since you talk about polarization, Rahul Gandhi should actually thank Mulayam Singh Yadav. He should actually thank Mayawati for making him win with the margin that he had, 3.75
4.6,
something.
I think.
And previously to that, 2.9 winning 77% vote. This time again, he thought he was going to be in same boat. Thanks to Kumar Vishwas in the beginning that he generated some anti-Rahul Gandhi momentum, and BJP smartly sent Smriti Irani and capitalized on that. Had Samajwadi Party candidate been there, Rahul Gandhi's election would have been in real difficulty. It's not a cakewalk, it's not an easy election as on now. Since yesterday evening, it was not a cakewalk. Till day before, till the time Modi's election rally took place. After that, certainly there is a galvanization. He would still win. My idea is he would still win. But if his margin goes below 1 lakh, then
Maybe 1
Rahul,
lakh or something.
or whatever numbers, then Rahul Gandhi's victory would not be called a victory. Because, and remember, in neighboring constituency, Varun Gandhi is fighting elections. He is sitting pretty sure to get some good margin. If that, again, that comparison would be made, because whatever Amethi has today is kind of credited to Sanjay Gandhi.
Right.
And Varun Gandhi is capitalizing on that in Sultanpur. Amethi, if you go to Amethi, people are so vocal talking against Rahul Gandhi that surprises you. I've been to Amethi several times. First time when I went there, I was surprised to kind of realize that I'm in Amethi, actually in Amethi. The place which you hear since the time you are born and into political consciousness creeps into your mind, Amethi and Raebareli, you go there, you don't have a place to stay in Amethi. You go to, I used to go to Raebareli, stay there, or Sultanpur or Musafir Khana, wherever. People have this constant complaint for last 10 years. Whenever you go, they'll point out to a certain road, and the road full of potholes. This time around, I saw some roads were being laid. Some improvement has taken place. But then there are areas and stretches where there is no public transport. Stretches where you have no kind of basic other amenities. The difference between Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, Rahul's persona and presence out there is slightly impersonal. He is there, but he is actually not there connecting with people. Whereas Priyanka Gandhi connects with people in the manner
That is why BJP is worried.
That is why suddenly
She is nobody in the Congress party. She is the only campaigner of Rahul Gandhi and Amethi and Raebareli.
She is patron of
But
Congress party.
But
You can't say that. You can't
technically,
say that.
she is not the leader.
Technically, that is besides the matter.
But she is
Perhaps after the
concentrating
elections-
only Raebareli and Amethi. But entire BJP is talking about Priyanka.
Priyanka Gandhi works on her charm. She would not talk more on substantive issues. She would move into the crowd.
All right, so I have completely run out of time on this discussion. I'm very sorry, but we need 10 seconds.
Okay, I'd like to just raise 4-5 issues. What
Oh,
does
I
it
don't
make
have
you
time.
do?
We need have completely over time on this one. We'll have this
allow me
conversation.
30 seconds, 30
Okay,
seconds,
30
Ishan.
seconds. Yeah.
See, 90% of the people don't have drinking water. Almost around 75% to 80% of the people don't have access to sanitation. There is no development. We have never seen any good IS passing out of Amethi. No businesses flourishing. People are in dark. There is no electricity. This is what Mrs. Gandhi and Mrs. Vadra wants to talk about development done by their son in last 5 years. It is horrendous. We'll have to focus on development rather than talking about the backgrounds of Ram and Krishnas and what we have.
We need,
I would like to. We are talking about the Gujarat model. In Maninagar, there is the constituency of Mukhyamantri, Chief Minister Narendra Modi. There was a report from NDTV. I have that report. The Muslim population, they don't have the sanitation. They don't have the toilets and the roads and this was the yesterday, the day before yesterday. This is the situation in entire India.
All right.
Likewise.
That is the
You
problem.
both represent very good newspapers. You both have well written. Please come with me. Show me a
All
single
right,
place.
all right, all right. I think
I have
I
been
think
in
we'll have
Gujarat.
to agree to disagree on this one. I think we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. I promise a part two of this conversation. Development to polarization is the theme for the BJP perhaps this time, and a politically convenient theme for other parties as well, especially as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned. And we'll have to wrap up on that note. Thanks very much, Vineet, for coming, and thank you very much, Sunita Aaron, for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you on the show from Lucknow. Sanjay Singh and Vinod Agnihotri, thanks so much for coming in. Well, that's it on this conversation. But as far as the polarization politics of UP goes, we'll be discussing all that and a lot more, of course, right here on India Post Live. The conversation continues right here.